Someone's probably watching me as I still get set up. This system is obviously too hard for me. I don't have my camera in the stand. I was just trying to get it set to be sideways, and then it said next, and I wasn't ready. But it did it anyways, so I'm sorry that the beginning of my video is showing my mess of blankets in the corner. I cleaned those up so that you could just see this, but now you already saw the other stuff. Whatever. Here I am. There, we're live, and we totally did it on purpose. That's like a showbiz thing. You just pretend like everything was meant to happen. I hope, okay, here's my thing. There are no kids in the house, and the camera is really far away compared to my other videos, so I hope you're able to hear me, and I won't know until the end of like my hour-long chat. So here I am. This is my new house. The background is different because this is the first time I think I've ever done pictures in this new house. And I did my hair for you. I don't know if you can tell. Usually it's up in a ponytail, so this is actually fancy for me. I don't know if you care. This is me. Here I am. I'm Ashley Brotzel, and I design crochet patterns, which is pretty amazing. And I wanted to show off. I have a few things scattered about you can see. I was prepared-ish, and I did have to move the bed. We're still sleeping in the living room. We have lived here 4 months now, and we're still all sleeping in the living room. We had quite a few surprises. The bedroom's not quite ready. There's only 2 bedrooms. One bedroom is like dismantled. It's just being renovated. And the other bedroom is half closet, half office. Well, like Mitch's office and my office. And all the kids' toys because there's nowhere else to put them. There is a lot of toys here as well, but when you have a bed plus the other half of the closet type stuff, I mean, I don't know. It's a disaster. We're working with it, but the bed is hopefully not in the screen. I couldn't even tell. I was trying to get it on the thing. So the real thing that I want to show off today is my newest pattern. This is Bubbles the Sea Turtle, which Alice, my daughter, who is 7, named. And I know I took some pictures, I put them up, but you can't really tell how big it is, right? And size is, I guess, important, right? When you're going to say, do I want to make the blanket? Does my friend like it? So, there it is. It's like as tall as me. It's touching the ground, and yeah, it's basically the same height as me. I'm about 5'7". I have no idea what that is in centimeters. I'm pretty sure there are 30 centimeters in 12 inches. I'm not doing the math. Do your own math. It's about as tall as me, okay? So this is the interlocking version, which means that the back looks pretty cool too. And I hope you can see it all because that was the point of me putting the camera so far away. And I also turned off comments because I know I can't see you anyway. So you can, I think when the live is over, you can leave comments, or you can leave comment in my Facebook group. And you guys can talk amongst yourselves, but I have no idea if you're watching, if the phone dies, none of that. I'll just keep talking until I go check on it, I guess. So here it is. This is Bubbles. And Bubbles is on sale for an automatic 30% off if you buy it before tomorrow. I think today is the 12th, I think. So other than that, then you have to pay full price, which I don't mind, honestly. I don't mind when people have to pay. And I definitely appreciate every sale that comes, but I hope that if you know you're going to want it, you can get that cheaper price because, I mean, why not? It's better for you, right? I also thought that since I have the big camera on far away, that I would show off another blanket from before. It's really not that old. In the way I do patterns, I just keep going so fast. So it's kind of old, but it's not that old. I think I published it in November. I should have looked it up before I came on here, but here it is. This is Glacial Warmth. This one, it's a bit smaller than a turtle, but not by much. It's still quite large. I think the width is pretty much the same. And I think it's very beautiful, if I do say so myself. This one is Mosaic, so you can tell the back is just stripes, although you do get a bit of a, like an illusion because of where it's been pulled down, or you get these tiny flaps. Now, There's not a lot of flaps in this one, but you do have some. I have no idea if I'm in the camera. This is not the best setup for me. I'll have to rethink this for next time. But we can just laugh later if it's a complete disaster. That's how I live life, okay? You have to laugh so you don't cry. That's pretty much how it goes, right? So this is Glacial Warmth. And you can see here that this border is really thick because it's an envelope border. I did one side here, one side there, and sewed it at the top, and that covers the tails. But I'm lazy, so I didn't do the top or the bottom because there's no tails there, and it saves me yarn and time, and it still looks good. Maybe you don't think so. You can do whatever you like. It's your project. I really like to see creativity. I don't know if anyone's ever taken it too far yet. Mostly, I think I like it. There are a few times when people, I know in other groups, designers get kind of protective of their patterns and they say, well, it's not my pattern anymore, you wrecked it, or something, right? I like the creativity. So this one, for example, it has a couple sections, but they're not actually broken in sections. So you can't really go to the pattern and say, well, I'm going to do this. You could find it on your own, but I don't write my patterns the way everyone else does because I have no idea how they write their patterns. I've been learning as I go, but I kind of was new to it all when I started. So hopefully you can just like the way I write mine and not always compare me to everyone else. I don't know. So, check. Those are in the background. They're not new at all. That's my little mountain square. One is Mosaic, one is Interlocking because all my patterns can do both. I wanted to show off this because I just made it. It's a little like Hexagon Cardigan. Have you ever heard of those? I've never made one before, so I made this tiny one. My toddler, she really likes hoods, but I think I have to make the hood a bit bigger. It's not quite, doesn't fit her head that great. But I'm proud of it, and it was very quick to work up, especially compared to the blankets. They take so long. So I was excited to do that. I'm usually the kind of person who does like 5 or 6 projects at a time. I can sit here and have one, or over there, or in the car. And this blanket was kind of an experiment when I was doing the sea turtle. I really wanted to get it done quickly because I felt a little behind with all the moving. I wasn't coming out with as many new patterns for my testers, and I think it's pretty rude to ask a tester to crochet in a week or something, right? I feel like I already put a lot of pressure on my testers. So obviously I have more patterns than you can see here because I have testers who do them and they don't mail me their patterns, although that's an idea for someday maybe. And I wanted to show this one because of the size thing. So you've seen this one in other videos. This is it touching the floor. So it's slightly shorter than Glacial Warmth. This is about, no, I think it's wider actually than Glacial Warmth. More square than that one. And this is called Abstract Princess because it's the smaller version of Abstract Queen. And Abstract Queen was my crochet along in 2021. I don't actually know. Somebody probably knows. It's online. You can look it up. So my Abstract Queen crochet along used all my abstract squares, which if you're familiar, you could find them in here. This one was abstract stripe, and then I kind of repeated it. And abstract cones or boxes, I forget. I don't even know what my own patterns are called. Okay, abstract lines, stripe. I don't know. I drew them like 2 years ago. I don't know what they're called. Anyways, so abstract had all these squares, and then I turned it into a queen size blanket. And then people were like, ooh, that's pretty big. I don't know if I like that. And I was like, okay, fine. And they also complained because, I don't know if complain is the right word. Maybe it is. Some of you might have complained. I don't mind. People were confused because I didn't have this mirroring this. They were different. The bottom was different than the top in the queen blanket. I am not addicted to symmetry, I suppose. So it didn't bother me. But for some of you, you were like, oh, I don't know if I like that. So this one is symmetrical and is smaller, but it's basically the same as the Abstract Queen. So those are the size things. Check, check, check. And, ooh, this is a new project. My yarn did a cuckoo thing, and that's annoying. So there's not much for you to see yet. If you're in my Facebook group, you can check out Cynthia Llewellyn is testing this one in the Interlocking. This one's Mosaic. And I'm only doing 2 repeats, which you can see I put my stitch marker in the middle here so that if I make a mistake and I have to count, if I'm already on this part of it, I don't have to count from the beginning again. I can always just start here. That's what the stitch marker's for. This one is like a double wedding ring quilt, only it's crochet version. And I'm just calling it wedding quilt, I think. I wasn't sure if I should really have the double wedding ring part in it because it's like, well, like I didn't design the double wedding quilt. It's like a really classic quilt that people have been doing for a long time. And I like quilts. My family does quilting. So this is based on the circles and the intercircles. I don't know what the words are. Obviously, you can't really see it much here. But if you go to my Facebook group, Cynthia's much farther in her project. And she showed us a little teaser and you guys were kind of all over it. So this one made sure that the counts were right. So I had to test it. Once I know that the foundation works and that the repeats work, testing really is just making sure that I didn't mess up the brackets. I have, not kidding, 900 pages of a Word document that I have created so that when I use the computer program, which so many people ask, I use WinStitch. It's basically like Excel or graph paper. I draw the image and WinStitch is just that program that counts it for me. So they spit it out the numbers and they say, okay, this row, we've counted it so that you don't have to. And it's 3 stitches and 2 stitches and 1 stitches or whatever it is, right? It doesn't actually do Mosaic, but it does do the interlocking. And then I create 3 extra files and then mix and match them so that I can get my lines for the Mosaic. And then I export that. And then I use my 900 macros, 900 pages of macros that I've created so that it changes because the information they've given isn't very user-friendly. And then I put it into a Word document, use all my macros, and it usually works so that now it's user-friendly. You can read it, and I want it to have it this format, that format, so that my patterns are pretty much all cohesive. They look like they're mine. And also because I think that's the best way to read them and use them. Other designers, they've decided upon whatever format they use. And so far, I've gotten a lot of positive feedback that mine are easy to read, they're understandable and straightforward. Or I absolutely hate reading patterns, so I use the chart. And that's fine too. My charts for the Mosaic have X's. I send every chart that I draw off to a friend, Natalie Caruso, and she has macros and program writing and whatever she does, and she takes it from an Excel thing and she puts all the X's on it and she sends it back to me. So it's kind of a group process now. Thanks, Natalie. And so what I was trying to say is that once I got it started, now that I know it works, really what I'm looking for is those brackets to make sure that there won't be a mistake in the pattern. You can read it the way it is, but sometimes when you're reading them, it'll say like double crochet 1, single crochet 5 times 3. And then the next part here will say double crochet 1. And then it'll put another bracket, single crochet 5. And you're like, well, wait, that could have gone in the first one, right? Like just finessing. Which is why sometimes, like the turtle, technically no one has tested the Mosaic version. And I know some of you are going to like faint in your chairs. No one tested the Mosaic version and you published it? Yeah, I use the computer program. I am very confident that when you go to read the pattern, it will work just fine. Because why? Computers don't make mistakes. I do. And so I've double checked that the parts that I can make a mistake on should be okay. Which means the computer did the counting and you can trust that it's going to be just like all my other patterns, okay? So try not to panic at that. It's not like a sweater where if you don't have a tester making sure every size doesn't buckle, because even though the math works out, once you start crocheting it, actually that doesn't fit right, right? This isn't a sweater, it's flat, it's off a grid, a chart, and I have full confidence that if you use that pattern, it is good. So it took me a long time to like stare at all the numbers, and if I was crocheting it, it would take me longer. And if I had a tester, they look at it, but you know, maybe you've been with me long enough, even when I had testers, sometimes they miss things. And it's not that there's necessarily, well, there have been some mistakes. I'm not perfect. But most of the time, it's sort of like a formatting error. And out of my 200 plus patterns, I have made mistakes sometimes. But for the most part, they work pretty well. So I am trying to do testing for both techniques most of the time. But every now and then, I'm still going to come out and say, hey, the computer did it and not me. Okay? So that's my like confession, I guess. I don't know. Do you still think I'm a real designer? Do you still trust me? I hope so. I mean, like, I'm nervous, sweaty, just thinking like, I've just like outed myself and my customers are gonna hate me. I mean, I really hope you don't. I know a lot of you are extremely kind and loyal, and I don't even know how it happened, but you like me, so that's pretty cool. I like that. Okay, since I have you here, I thought I might also show you the current, it's not crochet along, but sort of is. I don't know what crochet along means, really. Before I started designing, I thought crochet along specifically meant it is free, and I don't have to buy a pattern, and it's going to be on a blog. And then I learned that crochet along can mean that you can purchase the pattern and crochet along together. And I also thought there had to be prizes, but I haven't been able to do many prizes except for like I tried to give away $5 gift cards to my Ravelry store. People didn't really take me up on that too much. I tried to give away free patterns. People seem to like it, but it's still only like out of the 7,000 people in my Facebook group, I have like 5 people that comment, which is still nice, but it's not exactly the interaction I was hoping for, you know what I'm saying? So this is sort of a crochet along because a lot of you guys are interested or have bought the patterns or you will be doing it. I don't know. But maybe you know where I'm going. I think you can see me over here actually. Hi over here. Hi over here. I think the camera's really big. It wasn't supposed to be. I don't know. This, maybe you can see it. Is it upside down? Well, it's kind of a circle, so it doesn't really matter. I can't remember if it's upside down or not. This is January Cat from 2022, A Year of Cats ebook. It might be this direction. I'm not sure. This is January square, January cat. And it's kind of like a yin yang. It's kind of cute, right? And if the interlocking, of course, always has like an opposite design. However, you'll notice these vertical lines on this side are horizontal. So you can't actually think of it as an inverse of the image, right? It's each stitch is opposite, but that doesn't necessarily that the image gets completely mirrored or reversed. What's the words I'm looking for? I think inverse, but I'm not sure. So this was January Cat. I don't really like that I didn't have enough contrast. I was trying to use up scrap yarn. We moved like 3 times and I have yarn. I keep moving it and I'm like, okay, I should probably use it up. But I didn't really like this because it's also quite large. This yarn is like dish cotton. It's too stiff. So the square got quite large and I was like, if I make all of the squares in a blanket, like it'll be huge. So I said, no, I'm not doing that. And I grabbed, the other one. I went to the store and I bought more yarn. Oh, darn. Right? So this is February Cat. And I bought enough yarn to redo that one. But it'll probably be done in December because I'm always going to find something else that's more urgent, right? So the size is a bit smaller, a bit more manageable. If I have 3 wide and 4 tall for 12, that'll be a blanket. And this one is also, of course, interlocking so that all my squares can go together. I have testers doing the mosaic. The back is opposite colors, not necessarily opposite lines. You see these lines are pokey as opposed to straight, right? So anyway, he's kind of cute too. March is coming. I thought I might give you a little teaser. Are you ready? Okay, so I got my black because I'm using my main color as black for all my squares now. Obviously January has to be redone. And for this one I have this pink stripy stuff. Here's your teaser. That's how far I got. March is actually, if I had done this, if I crocheted faster, that's the issue. I take care of my kids. We've been moving. I was pretty stressed out for a little while. Moving is stressful, and I think that we did okay the first move, and then we did okay the second move. And then the third move, because we knew that this was our permanent place, it felt like the whole family just sort of like deflated. We were like, okay, finally, all this stress I've been holding, I'm done. And emotions were crazy, and we were all so tired. And we basically just, 4 months have gone by so quick because we are all just like recovering. So I didn't get as far as I had hoped. If I had a bigger square to show you, you would see that there's a bit of a mini series inside this 12 cat squares thing. And if I had a layout, I could show it, but I don't really want to wreck the surprise of all the other squares. When I did the gnomes ebook, which was last year's month square, how do you say that? See, now my brain is broken. I can't even talk proper. So this is kind of the same as last year's gnomes. Each month, gnome square was kind of themed to the month. So tried to make it like summery when it was summer, and the winter December one has like Christmas lights on it, that sort of thing, right? The cats, so far they do look like they're going to the month, right? January is kind of yin yang, new beginnings. February, their hearts, tail making a little heart. But actually, in general, the whole series doesn't follow a month schedule. I'm going to give one every month, but it's not like you'll be able to look at it and say, oh, that was for that month. Okay? So, out of the 12 cat squares, this one starts a mini series along the edge of the blanket. So if you had January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. That's how it'll be set up when I give at the end the all-in-one blanket as well, if you don't want to join your squares. So this along the side, May, June, September, and December, they're like a mini series. You can add them to your blanket if you want. And obviously that's like the main plan. But you can also, if you join like 4 of them together, they're going to spell Love. Huh? I wish I had some feedback. This live thing is fun. I'm going to pretend you love it, okay? So this is L. L matters if you read it left-handed or right-handed. Now, most of my other stuff, often it doesn't matter. If you were left-handed and you did this one, your turtle, he's going to be facing the other direction, but he's still a turtle. And maybe you care. Someone out there probably cares. I have learned that people care about a lot of things. I don't think it matters which direction your turtle faces. However, come on, yarn. It does matter which direction your letters face. If it's an L or O is kind of the same, doesn't matter. V also the same. E, it's a lowercase e because of the little tail. Maybe you've seen them online. Anyway, they matter. So the L and the E, they have right and left-handed instructions. So all my lefties out there can still spell love, which also means that the all-in-one blanket has right and left-handed instructions. So along that same thread of right and left-handed, the ebook that I came out with like 2 ebooks before this, I think the ebook right before this one. Okay, I don't know the timeline. I have a Valentine's Day ebook as well, which is still on sale right now until the 20th, and it's the 12th. My calendar's just there, but it doesn't really help me because I don't know what day of the week it is. Every day is the same. Anyways, I have a Valentine's Day ebook. It has 2 squares that are this size, and then like a blanket, which is kind of a baby-sized blanket. I think the baby-sized blanket is like 2 of these together, and then 2, only it's all in one. Maybe I'm confusing you. Anyway, the ebook before that, I think, was the sunflowers. This one is called Sunflower and Leaves. And I have a little video. I've showed you these before. This is just sunflower leaves. And this is Sunflower. Now, Sunflower is one of those kind that if it's reversed, you can't really tell the difference. And I did it in Mosaic, so the back is striped. And I put my envelope border around all 4 sides because I have a few other squares that I've done where I have a border on all 4 sides, and if I join them at the end, that'll make it easier. So this one has the border on all 4 sides again, but I had to use the other yarn. Okay, I've been trying to use up that scrap yarn, so it's not really the same size as these ones. And I haven't decided if I'm gonna like pretend and just sort of join them together anyways or what. I don't know. It's a different day's problem, right? Not today. These 2 squares, anyways, you can see that the leaf comes up and it points this direction. The leaf comes up and it points this direction. That's right, I think. I don't know, because I'm facing you. And I don't know. The leaf comes up and it points. These 2 squares come with right and left-handed instructions, although it's not really because you're right or left-handed. It's if you want your leaf to point this way, or if you mirror it and you want your leaf to point the other way, which doesn't help here, but maybe you can tell the leaf is now pointing that way. So obviously the front. Too much babbling. You get the point, right? Okay. Then I thought I would show off this at the same time. I don't know how long my video is getting. Maybe you guys wish that I would stop talking. You can just turn off the computer, okay? If you're still interested. Here we go. This is my winter direction. No, summer direction gal this summer. Winter 2021, I think they called it, right? Winter 2021 crochet along. Here it is. And I'm like, that doesn't look that great, right? Well, maybe if I get a little closer, although I don't want to get too close because then you won't see anything. But I used fingering weight yarn, so it's much smaller than my other stuff. I usually use worsted weight. I used fingering weight and I only did a single repeat. So if I had done that with this blanket here, for example, you can see right here is the line where it repeats. And this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, I think it's 6. 6 repeats wide. And other people have done these. I had testers for both techniques and they made the full blanket, but I wanted to have a sample of my own. But I didn't want to actually spend too much time on it because there's always more things to crochet. So I just did a single repeat, and it's also much shorter because the yarn is thin. But I wanted to be able to show that the backside looks cool, and I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with it. It's sort of a scarf, not really long enough for me. It looks pretty cute on my toddler though, but she doesn't want a scarf. So I just have more random stuff. Speaking of random stuff, you see I have like a sort of plan here. I haven't shown all my stuff off because I have too much. Oh, my yarn! Okay, I didn't know my yarn was in there. I was looking for that. That's fine. Yeah, I ordered from Hobby Yarn. We're moving and I keep ordering more yarn and thinking, I shouldn't order more yarn. I should use up the stuff we have. Let's move my millions of totes. But I did order more yarn. Okay, so December maybe? I forget. I had a square. It might have been earlier. I don't remember. I think it was December. It might have been January. You know, I don't know. I don't even know what it is today. February, right? Love month. I remember. See? I made this square anyways. It's hockey sticks. This one's the interlocking. And the back looks like this. And if you wanted to join it to some other stuff, you could. You could make it like a rug, hang it on your wall if you're cool like that. I don't know. This is the Mosaic. They're not actually this much difference in size, but I had to use double the yarn. I had to 2-strand it because the yarn I was trying to use was really thick. So then I had to double strand the other yarn. And that means that in general, it got a lot bigger than this one. But it's not really supposed to be that much of a difference in size. And I also ran out of yarn, which was good because I wanted to use up scraps. So that's why it ended here. But if you look at the back, you can see I tried to like, oh, I've got this random purple, I'll try using that. And then, oh, ran out of that one, I'll try grabbing some blue. Just kind of felt like a mess, a disaster. And then I ran out again when I was doing my envelope border, so it's finished with something lighter. The other issue when I was making this was we were just moved. And I had a bag of scraps that I was like, I'm going to use these up. But I couldn't go get more scrap. I didn't know where it was. So I was kind of limited, but I did it anyways. And I don't know. I'm gonna join it to other stuff, and I'll make a blanket or something. I don't know. Figure something out. So that, oh, I don't know. Maybe you don't care. I did buy yarn. It was on. They had a sale, so I don't have plans for it yet. Maybe I'll make myself one of those little sweater things. Although if I crochet myself a sweater, then I won't be working on this, and that won't be good. And I have to make that cat square still, so probably not. Maybe later. Here, yes. I don't know what I was thinking. I got my order. It had come in 2 or 3 bags, and this was like missing. And I was like, I swear I ordered that. I really liked that color, and I thought I ordered that. And then it came a couple days later, and I was like, yay! 1 ball. Where's the other ball? Apparently I already won. And I'm pretty sure I usually order 2 because here's the other stuff. I ordered this at the same time. They're from the same place. And I have 2 of each color because I make blankets and they take up a lot of yarn. But then the other issue is because this one is Mega Ball and it says a G hook. That's fine. But then this one says Mega Ball Airing and it says use an I hook. I don't know what those letters mean actually, but basically one is thick and one is thin, and I was like, oh no, because this blanket here that I've planned, it's going to be these colors, it was already on the smaller side, and now I have yarn that's smaller than I expected for it. I was like, what was I thinking? So that wasn't really supposed to be part of my video, but here you go, I'm whining about yarn. I'm very thankful to be able to buy yarn. Don't mistake my whining. So, I have that bag there, and I thought about showing you guys some older patterns, but I think I've babbled long enough, and I would like to get back to crochet now. And I'll probably post some video, no, the video is going to do live. I'm going to post like a picture of my disaster and be like, hey Instagram, I was live, you go check it out, because I have some followers there, which is kind of weird. And then I'll post a picture on the Facebook group because you guys are mostly there. I think my most interaction is Facebook group. And maybe you guys are just going to say, yeah, we didn't bother watching you talk too much. Look, I did forget one thing. If you watch my last live video, I had these squares, but there was one that wasn't done, and I finished it. It's like, look at me, I finished it. So these 4 are done. And there's really 15 squares in this 2020 holiday ebook. And I only did 4. But these are the snowflake ones. I was going to join them or something. But again, it's fingering weight. These are the same chart size. This one and this one is the same chart size. And this says this one. And the size is different because the yarn is different. So, you know, that's that. Anyway, now I got to clean up this mess. I spent like an hour cleaning up this area because we can't use that area and I can't use that space over there. And so Dad took the kids away, and here I am doing my video. This one also we're gonna give away. Friends of ours just got married, so I kind of debated. I was like, should I give it away? I mean, are they gonna understand the value of it because it took a lot of hours? And are they gonna care about it? I care about it, but it is very beautiful. And she complimented it when she was at her house, and I was just finished it the other couple months ago. So it's going to be a wedding gift for them. So I'm going to make sure it doesn't get left here. And my kids kind of make that a disaster if I leave that. So I got to clean that up. I think I told you everything I wanted to tell you. Showed off the sizes. Showed off myself so you made my hair pretty. And that's it. So hopefully the camera isn't dead and you actually get to hear all this. I don't know. That's it. That's it for me. How do I turn it off? It is still going, so that's good. I think I have to push something. Live. Yeah, I see live. Oh yeah, now you get to see the mess I was trying to cover up.